Get who's won that?
Nobody yet.
Nobody's won that. We don't know it yet. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to the World Cup show with myself, Steve Wyss, and Ashley Waite. What a day we had in Qatar. Two incredible matches that went all the way to penalties. Brazil are out of the tournament. The favourites are gone. And I've got to be honest, that was a match that I completely misread entirely. I think Croatia were well worthy of their draw, certainly in 90 minutes and probably in extra time as well. Thankfully, Brozovic finally did get that card. It saved my bacon in that game. And later on in the Argentina game, you had Messi to score or assist. We had a slight loss on the show of about 1 unit and match plays for Friday, but there was an outright that came in for you, Ashley, Argentina to reach the semi-final. So, I mean, what an incredible day of football. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was a show play too. So hopefully people tell that unit on Argentina just to make it to the semis at plus 180. Yeah, and for anyone who tailed that my Perisic shot on target, not counting that as a loss yet. I'm going to see how they review that because that is the most blatantly obvious shot on target that you'll pretty much ever see. If the goalkeeper is not there, the ball goes in. There's no one for him to be crossing to. So, yeah, I know that several people are kind of like, in an uproar over that. So I'm hoping that gets reviewed because that would be a really nice hit. And if not, I just feel like that one's really stolen and just some shady ass bullshit because it doesn't get any clearer than that. But yeah, Brazil, I mean, who didn't get it wrong? The only thing I did right with that one is taking live. Yeah, see, now it's just
there it is. This is a shot on target for me. If you look,
of course it is
because the goalkeeper has to save it.
Yes, it does. Otherwise, and if you look right there, right, with the writing that defines what a shot on target is, you look at B, the letter B, that's the key. A clear attempt to score that would have gone into the goal, but for being saved by the goalkeeper or stopped by a player. So it doesn't get any clearer than that. Right there, he shoots it. It's inside the post. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that should be a nice plus 140 or whatever the hell it was. But that should absolutely be a win. Shame on them if they don't give us that. But yeah, you're exactly right about Brazil and Croatia. I was on Brazil. I took Croatia live to qualify because they went totally opposite of what I thought physically in that match. Remember yesterday we were saying how Croatia had to go to extra time in their last match, and they're, older guys, and their legs would probably be tired, and they would start to give out in the second half. And none of that happened from start to finish to me. The score wasn't the most surprising thing to me, was that Croatia looked like the fresh team. I saw Vinny Jr. running up the sideline, dribbling the ball almost full speed, and some little, 5'8" Croatian little guy just chased him down from like 10, 15 meters behind him. So they played their hearts out, played harder. Brazil kind of seemed to me like they just thought they would show up and win it. So I think Croatia's experience helped them there, and 100% deserved win for them.
Yeah, I don't see how anyone could have foreseen that match the way it went, because I mean, Croatia looked like they had more energy than Brazil, and yet they're the team that had been to extra time. Brazil had rested players in match day 3. They should have been fresh. I thought the Brazil manager, who's now been sacked or he's left the post, it's a fair decision, that, because I think he made some very questionable substitutions. I still don't get what Anthony is. Every time I see him on the ball, he's just trying some tricks. He had a couple of decent moments, but that's it. I think he brought Rodrigo on. He missed a penalty. Fred came on. I mean, it's quite kind of laughable. And there was no plan B. And the penalty order was shocking for Brazil. Neymar didn't even take a penalty. He should be number 1 in the penalties, like Messi was for Argentina. So exactly, there's a lot on the manager. But Croatia played well, played a lot better than I thought they possibly could. And it just shows you they've got hearts of lions. And that semi-final isn't necessarily a gimme for Argentina. We'll talk about that next week.
No, not at all.
I mean, then the Argentina game, which was crazy in itself. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That last-minute goal, and then it was like the Dutch took their foot off the accelerator in extra time. I wish they'd almost stayed the same tactics. Kept Van Dijk up front, and who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, it was so funny because in that one I had posted for like really big plus money for Acuna and Dumfries, like in a double to be carded, and Acuna got carded, which I thought would be the tougher one to get out of the way. And Dumfries, they just let him get away with everything. I swear to Christ, they carded everyone on that pitch except that man. I was just sitting there like, how in God's name has he not, with his slides and tackles and spikes? I don't know. But yeah, I studied that much more. So got some good ones on the show, but I actually swept that Netherlands match, except for the quarter of a unit on Gakpo, which is the one I gave on the show. But yeah, it took both teams to score and over. It was kind of contrarian in that one. Money started coming in on the under, but I don't know. Give me all of that talent on the pitch, then I like that one. And thankfully it was a lot more entertaining than that Brazil debacle.
Yeah, I said on the show last night that to take Timber and Dumfries potentially could get in the book, and Timber did get in the book finally. He had so many fouls in this tournament, and Dumfries, I looked at that. I wondered why the referee didn't give him a yellow card for the penalty. I thought it was a soft penalty, but if he therefore gives the penalty, it probably should have been a yellow card. So you were unlucky.
Not only that, but I don't know if you saw there were. I mean, there were at least 2 or 3, I think, that being one of them, what you're talking about. But there were a couple more where I was just sitting there like, surely, that's a penalty. And just the way that he and Acuna were going at each other, I thought I was going to hit that one. But it was a small risk, but big plus money. But man, just looking at the lineup and all those yellow cards that everyone except him had, that was not fun. But yeah, great match, entertaining. Glad Netherlands scored, but in the end, glad Argentina went through.
The referee had a terrible match. I bigged him up last night, didn't I? Say he's a very fair referee, experienced referee, and he just lost it. I can't believe a referee of that experience just let the match go the way it did.
So, well, here's the thing: you are an expert at that. I know nothing, and as soon as I saw that guy's face, I didn't know his name. I was like, oh yes, I know who this is. He's one of those little show ponies. He loves to have his face on there. So I felt, even better after I gave out that double, for Dumfries and Acuna to be carded. Because that guy, oh my God, he's over there carding the bench. It's like, I don't know. That guy to me just he wants to be on the camera like he is supposed to be the focal point. So if I know what a ref's face looks like, that's bad because I don't know anything about those guys.
Apparently, Dumfries was actually given a red card after penalties, so off the field. So,
damn it. So that doesn't count.
Although I don't know how true that is. There was, I think, at least a dozen cards overall in the match, but there was several players booked after the final. They call it off the pitch, don't they? Which doesn't count, unfortunately. But unbelievable.
I should get half of my money back for picking. If there's 12 cards and I pick someone who didn't get one, that to me is more impressive than picking someone.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll move on. We'll move on to Saturday's games. Morocco against Portugal, and then England, France later. First match is Morocco against Portugal. It's definitely the least high-profile game of the day. I'm going to start us off here, actually, Ashley, with a half a unit pick. And it's not often you'll see me tip an under, but I can't get away from this. Under 2.25 goals. I thought the goal line would be 1.75 or 2. We know how Morocco play. They're going to have about 30% of the ball. They're going to be playing with a deep low block. They're going to make themselves hard to break down. They've got 2 of the best fullbacks in the world who can keep, I think, the dangerous aspects of Portugal quiet. And I think Portugal are going to have to work really hard to win this game in regulation. I think they might just do it. I think something like 1-0 to Portugal is on the cards here. In the second half, probably. A bit of magic maybe from Ronaldo even, or Bruno, perhaps. A long-range shot, maybe. Something like that might be the difference. But I don't see many goals. So I think under 2.25 is worth taking, only a half unit because it's an under, isn't it? And me and unders don't mix very well, Ashley. So if this ends in a crazy 2-all draw or something, I give up with unders. But it's just because I think the goal line is too high for what it is. So I don't know what your opinion is on that one.
Well, you know my opinion on unders, period. We broke up a long time ago. They did me dirty when I had enough of that. So, yeah, if you think the 2.25 is set too high, then you must really be liking the under. I see your reasoning for sure. Morocco, they're just not conceding goals. And we're talking about, versus like Belgium, Spain, a top flight teams, right? Not these lower echelon teams. So their defense is fantastic. And the fact that their defense is so great, but their offense just seems to have trouble producing that really, I think, it helps your cause for the under there. The question mark is obviously how, if Portugal break down this solid Morocco defense, but also if they do, how many times can they? So yeah, I don't see Portugal blowing them out or anything. Yeah, I think you're right with kind of like a 1-0 type win. I'm not going to play that, but if I were going to, I would play my famous correct score group of Portugal to win 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 around plus 160. For half a unit, I think that's great value because it, gives you that protection if Morocco does happen to score a goal. But yeah, I mean, I like your under. I don't have the guts to take unders because I have enough stress in my life, and from the time the whistle blows until the time that match is over, when I'm on an under, I am just an absolute crack-headed nervous wreck. So I'll pull for the under for you. I won't be touching it.
Ryan Simmons says Portugal corner spread -2.5. That is a very good point. Morocco have only had 4 corners in this whole tournament. I think it's ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, it's a staggering statistic because they got 2 of the best fullbacks in the world, but they only have 4 corners. And the reason is they've hardly had any of the ball, and all of their wingers just cut inside all the time. All the time. That's what they're trying to do, is just pass infield, and they don't go to the byline anymore. And that is why Morocco just don't have many corners. So I think that could be a very good bet, actually, Ryan. I must say that's a good spot. I completely forgot to look into the corner markets for this game. Not that I probably would have got involved anyway. But under 2.25 is my play. You've got a play for the game as well, half a unit one. A man who's been fairly good for you in this World Cup, Ashley.
Right, and I liked this no matter who is starting alongside him, but I do like it even a little bit more with Ronaldo getting benched like his whiny ass should be. So Fernandez, if I'm not mistaken, he's either in the lead for assists in this tournament, or he might be tied, I think, maybe with Antoine Griezmann of France. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes to score or assist, same thing. I'm not going to belabor the issue. It's the same reason that I liked Messi goal or assist today. He's just another guy who is more than capable of sharpshooting and hitting the net himself, or, making a brilliant pass and finding someone, else to give the ball up to score. So I think at plus money, I would take this at any plus money. I would take it probably as low as evens. Yeah, but I just think this is great value. And I, like I said, I would take it with Ronaldo out there, but I like it even more without him.
Yeah, he's the man on the set pieces, and that's where a lot of his assists are coming from. It might be the sort of game where a free kick or, like I say, a set piece is the difference between the two teams, and he's likely to be involved in that way. I think also the threat for Portugal does come centrally rather than out wide, because I think they've got the fullbacks Morocco to, like João Felix, for example. I think they can contain him quite easily. He's an incredibly overrated player anyway, in my opinion. And whoever's on the left wing, I think they can. Hakimi should keep them quiet. So, yeah, it's an intriguing game. I think Portugal logically should prevail. I hope I'm wrong here. Actually, it'd be nice to see the first African side make a semi-final of a World Cup, and Morocco are capable of taking it to extra time, and who knows then? It can be a lottery if it goes to penalties. Yep. So I hope that they do go through, but I think it's hard to oppose Portugal to qualify, isn't it? Overall, it just is. But I don't think it's going to be easy for them.
Yeah, it's the thing of you never know. Like you said, if it does make it to a shootout, and right now Morocco, they're kind of playing with house money, right? So if from a pressure angle, all of the pressure is on Portugal. Morocco, if they get bounced and destroyed in this match, which I don't think they will, but even if they did, they've done their country more than proud, already. So whereas in Portugal, right, if they get bounced, that's going to be a disappointment. So I look for Morocco to definitely go in there and give them a fight, which is why I say, like, there's a parlay piece I like for this. If anyone has anything, Ryan, like maybe your, Portugal corners or something, like Hakimi, I think in the 4 matches, the fewest tackles he has had is 3. I think he's been 3, 4, 6, and 6. So I like Hakimi over 1.5 tackles. It's too expensive by itself, but I'm looking at something to put that with. So if anyone has like a really, nice parlay piece that they like, that's just, they're priced out of as an individual bet, I think that's a good look. Because he's had at least 3 in the other ones, and we just need him to have 2 here.
Yeah, I have seen some people betting on tackles in this World Cup, actually. You can bet on anything you want in the World Cup, like throw-ins, everything. Like, seriously, it's incredible is what World Cup markets bring out. But tackles...
There's something on my book where it's like you bet on the goal scorer shirt numbers or something, over, under... I still don't even know what the hell that means. Does it mean like their numbers combined, if it's over 38? I'm like, goal scorer shirt numbers? What the fuck is that? I should bet it just because you got a 50-50 shot. I don't even know what it is.
You can bet on who kicks off the match, which team kicks off the match. So... And I was looking at that and I was thinking, could you get an edge? Because if you win the toss, there might be some teams who don't want to kick off first and they want the second half kickoff. There might be some teams who want the side rather than kicking off.
Yeah, so I don't know. I bet on the coin toss one time in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll bet it. I'm not even going to look up like what it is, the goal scorer shirt numbers. I'm just going to throw something on it. It's going to be the over, though. I'm not taking the under. I don't even know what the hell it is, but I'm not taking the under.
Super Bowl national anthem length. I used to bet on that. So, although there is some logic to it, if you knew the singer, the type of singer would produce. So
yeah, you get Mariah Carey up there, you go over.
Right, let's move on to England against France. And I mean, I thought this was going to be. It still might be. I thought this was going to be the tie of the round, but it'll take some living up to reach Netherlands against Argentina levels, won't it? So. I think the winner of this match could well win the World Cup. I really do. I think that whoever gets through here will have a lot of belief. And now that Brazil are gone, it certainly helps them. So England against France, and we've got several picks for this game. I will start you off here, Ashley. How do you think the match itself is going to go? Do you think it gets won in 90 minutes? Does it go extra time penalties?
Oh, man. I mean, just the way that both of them went today, I can see it going to extra time, which is why, I'm going to avoid a money line here, even though you're getting a really, really, really nice price on either of these to take a money line. But I think there's a reason for that. I think, I know England is your homeland, and I do think that they have an extreme amount of talent. There's no doubt about it. But there's something about this France side that just stands out to me so far. I'm super impressed with them. I would say right now, even after watching Argentina fight, back in penalties today, I think France has Morocco's the feel-good story. But as far as just playing and the ability to just, need a goal and just hit you out of nowhere, France has impressed me in this. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see them repeat here.
Yeah, this is your first pick for the game. France draw double chance and over 1.5 match goals. That's inside 90 minutes. So, obviously, you don't think France are going to lose in 90. But you also think it's not going to be a 1-0 or a 0-0. Actually, you think there's going to be a few goals in the first 90 minutes?
Right. So I was debating on, there was a little bit more value on taking France on the draw double chance and both teams to score. Because I can see both teams scoring. This France defense is not spectacular like it has been in years past. And England, obviously, they have firepower. It's just on how England decides to play, right? If Southgate, releases the horsepower, or if he keeps making stupid decisions. So I could absolutely see both teams scoring. But yeah, I think the worst that France do here is draw. I don't see England beating them outright. I mean, either one of these on a given day could beat the other. I'm just going to go with current form and, those fantastic strikers for France. And I'm just going to say that there's at least 2 goals in this match and that France don't lose it. So if it ends 1-1 in 90 minutes, we still win this unit here.
Yeah, that's your first pick for the game. My first pick is both teams to score, yes, -105 also for 1 unit. I think the 1-1 draw is in play. I think in 90 minutes, this is a draw. And there's not much between these two teams. I actually quite like England as an underdog here. I think they're quite a good dog. I thought that the bookmakers would make this a pick'em, but France are a favourite. So it's not often that England are an underdog in a tournament match. I can't remember. I think only one time in my whole life, and that was 2002 World Cup when it was a quarter-final. It was against Brazil, and David Seaman let in a Ronaldinho free kick. That would have been the only time I think England would have been a clear underdog in a match that I can remember anyway. And they're not used to that, really. So I think the players will be looking at the odds. Ivan Toney's not in the England squad, the man who's been done for betting on over 2,000 matches. But they'll still be looking at the odds. And I think sometimes that can make you want to sort of perform better, that you're not the favourite. So I think England, it does suit them being an underdog. I think most the feeling around the country is that you can't expect England to win this game because France is strong. And I think if England lose, the feeling won't be too bad compared to normal. The worst thing for England is when we lose when we're expected to win. So this is an interesting scenario. I think you could easily get beat by France and just say, oh, the better team won. So I think it's an interesting dynamic, but I think both teams do score. I've seen several people tip the under in this game, actually, under 2.5 goals. I'd rather go over than under, I think, if I had to pick a choice. But I think both teams to score is my preference because it does cover the 1-1 draw. There's too much firepower. There's too much firepower on either team for me to see both getting shut out, actually, and I don't trust either defense.
No, that's why I like for there to at least be 2 goals, and I'll be sprinkling for the value just on their sheer power up front, firepower. I'll be sprinkling France team total over 1.5 at a ridiculous +160. England has they have a decent defense, but I think that asking any team to stop the firepower of France for 90 minutes and hold them to 1 goal, I think it's highly possible that they do. I can see, but I would put that price more for France to score twice. I'd put that around +110, 115. So yeah, at +160, I'll definitely be putting a little bit on that. It's too much value to pass up with the talent on that team.
Well, yeah, this is the best team that England have faced in the Southgate era in a major tournament, no doubt about it whatsoever. So this is a really good test for England. I wouldn't trust the defence. I know it's been doing well in this tournament, but they haven't faced much at all. This is now a completely different scenario. So I think, BTTS is a good play there. You do like the French attackers. This is your second pick for the game, Ashley. Mbappe, anytime scorer, that could look a massive price at the end of the game, +165 for 3/4 of a unit.
Right. And I just think that this is the type of match where, I just see him going for it. Just like you said, England not used to being underdogs. So I could see them coming in with a little bit of extra fight in them. And these are just the type of matches where Mbappe seems to shine, right? He's that guy that loves the spotlight. He wants to be the center of attention. And obviously this is going to be the most massive match, just the world watching. So plus 165, whether he scores or not, you guys know I'm a value better. And, if you just play them consistently, you will win more times than you lose. Chasing and laying prices on favorites, just doesn't work in the long run. So Mbappe, yet again, he's an asshole, but he's a very talented asshole. And if you're going to give me him plus 165, I don't care if he was the only guy on the pitch. I would still take that, right? If it was him versus 11 people. So I just think it's an insane price, and it's a swing at value. And I think it has a fantastic shot of hitting. Absolutely. And you might want to look at the Mbappe goal or assist, because if for him just to score is plus 165, you might actually get a decent price on that. But I'm just going to swing for the fences on this one. I mean, that guy's I think he's going for the golden boot. Think they want to show that they're the superior team and have every chance to repeat here. So at plus 165, that to me, that's just crazy price.
That is a big price, I must say. I think England are going to try and shut down Mbappe here, but whether they can do it or not is a completely different question, isn't it? Really, your bet here kind of links in with my second selection for the game, and that is Kyle Walker to be carded at plus 400. It's only a quarter of a unit play. And Pedro, thank you very much for wishing England good luck tomorrow. Good luck, best of luck for Portugal as well. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a semi-final and Portugal get to knock us out on penalties again, as they always used to do. I remember I cried as a kid once when that happened in like the 2004 Euros or something like that. But Kyle Walker's going to be matching up against Mbappe here. Everyone's talking about it. It's all in the media. Yeah. Kyle Walker's the man, the only man in the world who can stop Mbappe, apparently. That's the media scenario here, because he's got the pace to do it. I don't think it's going to be quite as simple as that. If England go to a back five, then Trippier will be involved as well. But there's no doubt Walker will be coming up against Mbappe in some sort of form. Walker's not on a card for this tournament. He can take one. You can take one. Like we saw tons of cards today in the first two quarterfinals. Both referees on Saturday have not been given many cards in this tournament, but I think the players have got a license here. He will, at some point, he'll take one for the team, like a tactical foul, just side him down. I think they might try and go in hard on Mbappe and injure him as well. I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'd be trying to do. If I was up against Mbappe, I'd be trying to make him go lame. So Walker will target him. I don't think he'll get a card in the first half, but I could see him taking one in the second, maybe even then get substituted off. So plus 400, I think it's just a massive price for someone who is matched up to perhaps the best player on the planet, So I think
it is, and I don't study cards, and even I've been reading about that. I like your play, and I do think you're right. I think they go hand in hand because, we know that it's in the press, right? So these two guys, Mbappe and Walker here, like they know it as well. So we expect to see a fight out of these two. I think that's going to make Mbappe push harder, right, to show that he can beat this dude and score. And I mean, good luck, Kyle Walker. I don't know much about the guy, but I do know a good bit about Mbappe, and it seems like he could frustrate anyone. And containing him for 90 minutes, I think, is going to be a tall task for anybody.
Well, the other interesting thing, now, if I'm the French manager, I would swap the wingers. I would actually put Mbappe on the right wing sometimes and put someone else on the left wing, like Dembele. Dembele is also just as tricky, so it might not always just be Walker against Mbappe. So that would be an interesting little twist, wouldn't it? So Walker to be carded for a quarter of a unit. I've got one final play for the game, and it's Saka over 1.5 shots. So I hope Opta don't do the dirty on us here and actually register proper shots rather than a cross or something. All I need is 2 attempts from him. 2 attempts. Now, he might only get 70 minutes in this game, but he's on that right-hand side where Mbappe's not going to be tracking back. Hernandez likes to get forward. He's going to get opportunities. I just hope that he goes for goal rather than looks to pass. So be selfish, please, Saka here. But I think that's a big price, plus money, just to have 2 shots, actually, in the game. It doesn't have to be anything good. A couple of shitty attempts will do me here. He has been shooting in this tournament. He's been scoring goals in this tournament. So I think he could actually net in this game. But I was going to say, I think he's absolutely worth a sprinkle to score because,
listening to this podcast earlier about, right, he's going to be matched up mainly against Hernandez, right, who they just don't see. I mean, Saka's talent level is just above that. So at a plus 600, yeah, if you're expecting a couple of shots, I wouldn't go crazy with it, but I'll probably, sprinkle a little bit on that because he has the ability to score, and a plus 600 for any scorer that, has a decent shot is just, crazy value to me.
I'm not sure what price it is, but if I was to have a bigger nibble here, I would actually take a shot at England to win in extra time, because I think if it does go to extra time, England will at least try and win it, because England don't do penalty shootouts very well. Actually, as you know, it's not a good thing for England. So I think hopefully they learn their lessons from the past and actually go for it. They won in extra time against Denmark in the last Euros. So if it does go into extra time, I'll be betting live England to win in their 30 minutes, because I think they'll just push. They won't settle for penalties because they won't win on penalties. France will win on penalties if it goes that way.
I like France. I would take France to win and both teams to score at a huge price, but there's no way, right, that I can be pulling against you here. So.
Well, that would be a big price. That would not be
it's a huge price.
I don't think France will win to 0 in 90 minutes.
No. So, yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I think it'd be a good price.
A lot of value, but it's like, if I bet that, then I have to be pulling for that to happen, and I just, that means I had to be pulling against your country. And there are, believe it or not, even though this is what I do a ridiculous amount of my waking hours, there are more important things than betting, friendship and things like that, all that shit. So I can't do you that way. So I'll be, I'll settle for my draw double chance and over 1.5, and then England go on to win an extra time or, penalties or whatever. Then we'll both be happy.
I cannot believe that the machine, the ice cold machine that is Ashley Waite, is bringing some sentiment here into football. And
I was glad Croatia pulled it out today, even though my money was on Brazil. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, let's hope for another good day at the World Cup, and hopefully some good games of football, and let's hope we can cash some winners and maintain our momentum. Ashley, we'll be back to preview the semi-finals next week, so looking forward to that. But from this particular show, I will say goodbye and good luck to everyone.
See you guys next week.